Really happy to be here with you today. And just a reminder that this session will be recorded and it will be available on our new curriculum EPD site as well as our presentation slides. So everything we present to you is available for however you would like to use it within your school communities. Please do note we do have people monitoring the chat. So please do use the chat if questions do pop up. And if we can get to it, we certainly will do that at the end. And then please have your smartphone available so that we can provide you with some interactive activities as we move forward. So I'd like to invite Matt now to lead us in our land acknowledgement.
Thanks, Lind. The Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. The Calgary Catholic School District acknowledges that the land we gather on, Mohkinstsis, is the ancestral territory of the Siksika Sitapi, the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, and Amstkay Piikani. We acknowledge all the Treaty 7 signatories, including the Tsuut'ina people, as well as the Ayarahe Nakota Nations, Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley. This land is also the home of Métis Nation Region 3 and all others who call this place home.
Thanks very much, Matt. And Barb, I invite you now to lead us in prayer.
Thanks, everyone. So this is a prayer for love. Loving God, open my heart and draw me closer to you. Make me a gentle and generous presence in the lives of my human family. Remind me of the time it takes to build relationships that are long-lasting and truthful. Give me the patience and the courage to make love a hallmark of my life and faith. You who are love can do all of these things in me. It is love in and with and through you that I long to abide. Amen.
Thanks so much, Barb. So just this will become, if it hasn't already, become very familiar to you. So again, this is the architecture and design of our new curriculum. So as we're looking at resources today, we'll be looking at it through the lens of how we support to bring all of those to life. So our agenda for today is looking at just a bit of feedback from Monday's session, and also giving us a bit of guidance for where you would like us to take professional learning moving forward when it comes to new curriculum. We'll be going over some resources and some details around that, the resource selection process, as well as then you will go out into your teacher choice session, where you'll be able to do a bit of a deep dive, 30-minute, very brief, broad overview of each of the resources that we are in the process of purchasing to support you in the new curriculum implementation. And finally, at the very end, your principals or your administrator who's leading the PG has a survey that we have just asked them to send you at the very end of today. Just if there's any additional feedback you'd like to provide for us, that would be the opportunity to do that. So to start, I just want to say, like, we do know that there is a lot going on and that there is, you have a lot on your plates right now, and we do recognize that. And we hope that today's session will give you a chance to start to make sense of some of the curriculum changes, but also some of the resources that are available to you. Please know that there is no way you're going to remember all of it. So give yourself some grace and allow yourself to slow down in this process, because we will continue to have PD for school reps and as we're moving forward. So we'll continue to revisit a lot of this work and to go a bit deeper in it throughout the year. So please do come back to that, that pacing guide you were working on. And really give yourself permission to not plan too far ahead, but really start to feel like you're getting settled within, like, underneath you. So here's just the feedback, and some of you have probably already started doing that. So I'm going to switch over in just a bit to our Menti. Well, that's really wonderful. If you recall in May when we first presented at PG Day, the score to be able to find and navigate through EPD site and those digital resources was quite low. So I'm really so happy to see that you are all feeling a little more confident in the direction and where to go to find things. Again, this is not something you're going to be able to know all at once. And so paving that pathway of where to go and not having to sort of spend 20 minutes of valuable time searching where is, this is kind of where we really wanted to help put it top of mind for you so you had that confidence in moving forward. And please know we're here to support you. So if you feel like you're spending time looking for stuff, please reach out to us, because that's what we're here to do, is to guide and walk alongside you. And that's great. So yes, we really do. As we said, one of the key messages is we want to be responsive to what you need. And so if there's anything we can do to help you in moving forward, again, this is the question around what would you like from us? We want to create things that are meaningful, but also manageable for you. So we can help to, again, I can't create more time. I know the feedback in May was we want more time and we'd love to create more time, but we can't. But we can hopefully provide some tools and templates and things for you that help you to save you a bit of time in your busy days. So please know that we appreciate that feedback and we'll continue to use it to guide the decisions as we're moving forward. So thank you so much, and please do continue to add those ideas in there for us. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview, and for some of you this is a bit of a refresher, especially if you're one of our school reps. But there is a bit of a shift in how we acquire resources, how we decide on resources. Typically, we have approved resources that the government says this is what is approved, but now that responsibility is being shared between Alberta Education and school leaders. So in supporting that process, this is where we have really looked closely at what is a resource. So first, let's start with the end in mind, and what is a resource? And it really is any material used by students and teachers to engage in learning and teaching. And this is really important for us because we want to make sure that as an NCIS team and working in collaboration with schools, what are the meaningful resources, text, materials, those types of things that we believe are needed in order to implement more effectively this new curriculum and help bridge that gap. We also know, though, that it's really important that we adhere to good practice around resource selection, because there are some resources out there that would not be appropriate, neither through a Catholic lens, but also from a security perspective if we're thinking of digital online resources, as well as, of course, is it curricularly aligned? And so is it really the best resource to really bring that learning outcome to life? Because we know that learning outcome is what needs to be taught, and it also needs to be assessed and reported on. So it's really important that it's learning outcome focused, and we're driven by our decisions are guided by that outcome. I also want to, again, this is a familiar slide, but just to remind you, you know your context the best. And so working with school administration and with us, trying to build in equity, because not one resource is going to fit every student in your class, nor fit you and your approach to teaching. And so I think it's really important that this comes right out of the government's guide, the resource guide. And so it really is a lot of opportunity for that professional judgment to respond to the local context. However, there are some guidelines, and these are the 5 areas that are established these should be at the forefront as we're looking at resources. So is it curriculum aligned? Is it developmentally appropriate? Does it acknowledge that student experience and engagement? Pluralism, so is it really looking at all of our students? As well as some key considerations around accessibility, usability, and inclusion. So that comes again right out of the resource selection guide from Alberta Education. So one of the things that we did in June was, again, I had explained on Monday, we have an extended new curriculum implementation success team. And we really wanted to ensure we were doing our due diligence around supporting inclusion, because that's been a really big priority in our school district over the past number of years. And so I just wanted to highlight for you, when choosing resources, when looking at the resources, looking at it through the lens of inclusion. And we have many consultants here who are there to support you as you are moving forward in really trying to help students see themselves within the curriculum, as well as see themselves within the resources that we are providing for them. So I had a wonderful conversation with Paula Huddy, our IMC consultant, and she brought something to my attention that I didn't know was there. I kind of knew of it, but I didn't really know where to find it. So I really wanted to highlight for you that with the last update of the district website, teachers and students now have access to, it's called the CSSD bookmarks. And in there, you're going to see all of the incredible resources like videos and audiobooks in Learn 360. There's also hundreds, if not thousands, of digital books in Tumble Books. And all of those have been purchased by the district for use by teachers and students. In addition, they've compiled in the EPD site, Paula and the team have compiled cultural book lists by division. And so again, this presentation will be on our EPD, and you can, if you can't find the link, contact Paula, contact one of us, or even use the links in this presentation. But there's, again, that information is there available for you right now. And she has videos and everything created to support you in that. When it comes to ed tech, just a reminder that please know that is really important from a security perspective. I've personally been involved in that, where we had a breach where our students started getting spammed with inappropriate content because it was not an approved resource. And so please make sure that digital tools that you're using are being vetted through ed tech. So please do reach out to them to ensure that if you are using an online tool, then please make sure that it is one of the ones that have been vetted for security perspectives. And now I'd like to just pass it over to Kevin Warner, the Supervisor of Religious Education, who's just going to give you an update on Fully Alive and Kids in the Know. As we know now, our physical education and wellness is now, those outcomes are all integrated in the same curriculum area. So the minutes have always been physical education and health, but we've often taught them separately. So I know we are working through this process with schools, because not only is it very integrated now, those physical education and wellness outcomes, but we also know now we'll be moving forward to reporting in one area of the progress report. So we understand that we have some gaps to work out and some glitches to work out in that process, which we will do when we meet with schools in September. But in the meantime, we would like to just bring to your attention some of the updates around Fully Alive and Kids in the Know. So now I'll pass it over to Kevin.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn, very much. Appreciate it. Welcome back, everyone. And as mentioned, just a couple of resources for consideration that we've already been using here in Calgary Catholic. Kids in the Know is a recommended resource for kindergarten to grade 6. Some of the outcomes in the new PE and wellness curriculum talk about things like personal safety, so boundaries and refusal skills and things like that. Just a reminder that this is available as a digital resource in French as well to support our French immersion schools, and it's available for purchase. So please reach out, to IMC or to our department if you need any assistance in updating your resources in your school. Fully Alive rolled out over the past 2 years in grade 1 to 4, and that continues to be utilized in physical education and wellness. If you are new to teaching grade 1 to 4 and Fully Alive, training is available through Public School Works. And as those grades rolled out in the previous years, some curriculum mapping was done, and those are still available on EPD, so that remains the same. Again, some of the outcomes covered here around wellness are character development, healthy relationships, growth and development. Stay tuned, because in the weeks and months to come, there are increased flexibility and opportunities into how these outcomes can be covered and where they might be integrated. So as an example, ELAL, so those cross-curricular connections. So park that for right now. Again, that'll be something down the line. For Fully Alive, grades 1 through 6, we should note that the human sexuality outcomes, the family life outcomes, are taught in religion class. So in Fully Alive, that's always theme 3. It's pulled out of your wellness time, and theme 3 is always taught in the religion classroom. For those of you teaching grade 5 and 6, Fully Alive training will be coming again, probably via Public School Works, likely available in mid-November or thereabouts, mid to late November, for a planned January rollout, as we did with grades 1, 2, 3, and 4. Last note here, less is more. In grades 1 to 12, for many, many years, we've always gone above and beyond and sent 2 parent letters home in regard to human sexuality instruction. Now we're only going to be asking 1 parent letter to be sent home, and that letter will be sent home not in September, but about 4 to 6 weeks before the content is taught. So in our schools, those human sexuality outcomes are typically taught in May or June. So again, 4 to 6 weeks prior to that, a letter needs to go home. And again, those can be found on EPD. If any of your parents have any questions, when you go to the district website, the CSSD website /curriculum, there is a parent handbook for religious education and family life. And if you have any questions very specific to your own classroom situation or your own school situation, our new religious education consultant for K to 6 is Lily Zacconi. She replaces Chelsea Marshall, and she'll assist in any questions you may have. Thanks very much, Dr. Leslie.
Thanks, Kevin. So as I alluded to earlier, we have received funding from Alberta Education to support resources and to support professional development. And so what we are doing is, as we receive the funding, we set these 4 priority areas of how to fund or where to use this funding. And so in collaboration with schools, school leaders, in June, we shared that we have about 85% of the outcomes that have sort of some gaps or areas that we really want to delve into a bit more deeply in providing some strong resources to support it, like phonics, phonemic awareness, mentor text, those types of things. And so a large part of our budget is going to addressing those new curriculum gaps, but there also is opportunity to support some materials and manipulatives in order to gain a resource, anything we use to teach an outcome, and also some areas around teacher choice. So if there is a particular resource that you're really, you've seen another teacher using, or you've seen it at another school and you want to go a bit deeper in with it, then please do know that, sorry about that, that we will, try to support you in that if we can. Please do talk with your principals about that, as well as they may be able to support you. My computer is being very finicky today. And then finally, school equity. Currently, as we moved forward, we did things like we purchased 1 set of something for a school. Well, we know that we have some schools that have 150 students, and we know we have schools that have 600 students. And so we will have an opportunity as we move through the year to build in some equity around not just sort of school size, but also foundational resources. If you're an older school and you may not have something, we may be able to support you in that as well. And the best route to have a conversation with that is with your area supervisor. And then that information will come through to our NCIS team to see if we have the budget to support that. Keep in mind, it is a one-time budget we've received. So we are specifically addressing the new curriculum areas. And we're trying to balance between print and digital, because from a sustainability perspective, we want physical resources to be residing in your school, because at this time we only have the 1 year to be able to support when it comes to the digital resources. And now I'm going to pass it on to Dr. Linton, who is going to go over PN Wellness as well as English Language Arts and Literature.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Leslie. And thanks for reminding us that the PE, the Phys Ed and Wellness curriculum is now combined. So it combines the disciplines of Phys Ed and health and wellness education and supports a healthy school community. So the goal is to promote those holistic strands, the 8 dimensions: physical, social, emotional, spiritual, environmental, financial, intellectual, and occupational health. So when we look at the highlights, so the 3 different resources we're looking at, the first one is teaching games for understanding. Really excited about this resource, and it's listed as a resource from Learn Alberta in regards to the new curriculum. It integrates best practice and pedagogy in teaching phys ed. And the long-range plans that have been developed on EPD have been aligned to this resource just to make your life easier, to help anchor the other dimensions of wellness and optimize opportunities for integration through activity. The second resource that we are bringing online is the Paths and Emoji resource, and that's been implemented already in 17 of our schools with the help of Barb Duncan, and has provided a strong research-based socio-emotional learning program in many of our schools. It's really proven, has a proven track record of being effective. So the kit that you will receive is including a teacher manual with detailed lessons and student activities and support materials as well. So you may notice there's not a set resource attached to the wellness resource. So we're going to continue working on resource alignment to support implementation, development to address gaps, and partner with external agencies to provide extension opportunities as well. So exciting times for phys ed and wellness. Okay, and when it comes to English language arts and literature, this curriculum is going to still involve those strands of reading, writing, listening, speaking, viewing, and representing as a part of a comprehensive program of literacy. So the resources that we have available, first of all, we have the Phonics Companion, and that is, it provides instruction and support with explicit lessons, scope and sequence charts, and access to games and support activities. We don't have that just yet. We're working on it. It will be ready in October 2022. And in the meantime, and as an alternate resource and a very effective one as well, we have Reading A to Z. So that provides a comprehensive literacy resource to support phonics, scope, and sequence, teacher lessons, and decodable books. Digital view or print option, PDF for guided reading and decodable books that you can print off in your schools, and supports for interactive read aloud, shared reading, and small group instructions, including myths, legends, fables, readers theater, and more. And then in grade 3, we have Words Their Way. So vocabulary and word study books have been purchased. They are not here yet either, but we're working on it, and those should come up to your schools soon. And last but not least, we have Scholastic Decodable Readers. There are 52 titles, 4 of each, and these are great for small group and culturally inclusive lessons. So we're really looking forward to these resources coming in schools as well. Thanks, Dr. Leslie.
Thanks, Dr. Linton. Now I'm going to pass it over to Kevin DeForge. And the reason the supervisors are presenting is they actually are the lead for those curriculum areas. And so they could also be a connection for you as well. And I pass it over to Kevin DeForge.
Hello, thank you. I don't have a doctor in front of my name, but it is Kevin DeForge. And if you look at our math, we have some print and digital resources available at the younger grades. So for K to 3, we have one set of Mathology, the little books, 72 fiction and non-fiction books. So there's 16 titles written by Canadian Indigenous authors and educators, which is excellent to address those pieces. And that includes a lifetime digital resource of books, which is to use in whole class instruction. In our K to 4, we have a digital license for Zorvit's Math Adventures, and it's in English and in French. It's a student-centered blended learning approach to this. There's a teacher and admin dashboard to gather real-time data, which is effective for tracking students and their learning. You do not need to be on a device for these. There's lots of printable lessons and math number talks for classes in learning and centers. So don't worry only about devices, using them when you can, also printing them when you wish. And finally, for teacher choice, 1, you have mathology.ca, English and French again. Grades 3 digital planning resources. There are over 1,000 curricular aligned lessons. Within there's some big ideas with organizing ideas. There's number sense, patterning, and algebra, measurement, geometry, data management, and probability. And of course, always math manipulatives. Those are critical to incorporate into your teaching to build conceptual understanding for math concepts in conjunction with any of these resources. That's all I have for now.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kevin. And finally, Teresa Sorosky, just giving us a bit of an overview for kindergarten.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to start by reminding everybody that for kindergarten, the learning outcomes are now mandated, and that is a change for our kindergarten program. And so it's really important that we remember that as we're working through the curriculum, and that it's outcome based, and these outcomes will be reflected in our reporting. So they are mandated outcomes. The nice thing that we have is the opportunity to approach these outcomes in we have some flexibility with how we do that. And so we have a couple of resources here that we think will help you get there. The first one is we want to emphasize the learning through play, and you can see the play continuum there. There's a small picture of it, and we really want to make sure that our kindergarten children have that opportunity to develop as the whole child, and some of the activities that they can do through play-based learning will also address the outcomes. So the play and learning book that you will be getting is called Playing and Learning in Early Childhood Education. An excellent resource, and we're very, very excited to be able to share that with you. We're also going to be making sure that you have the access to the Haggerty Phonological Awareness Kit, and that will support some of the other resources that you're going to be getting in ELAL as well. We are also going to make sure that other resources such as center materials, loose parts, and manipulatives are available for you. If you are in need of any of those items, our kindergarten team is here to support you. They are known as the early learning team now, and they do support in grade 1 as well. So anything that we can do to support you, please let us know. I think the biggest thing I want to do before I go today is give another plug for our amazing Google site. The early learning team has put together some excellent resources there. I've put a link to it here in the chat for you again. You can also access it through EPD. So all of these resources will be supported by the work that has been showcased on the Google site. So we're very, very excited about all of the ways that we can support, and please don't hesitate to ask us any questions that you may have.
Lynn, if you're talking, you're on mute.
Every time, I tell you. Thank you so much, Shelley. So just as a reminder, big thank you to all the supervisors that presented today. Again, they are the lead, the big C, I call them, the big curriculum in each of those areas. And we definitely, the NCIS, we focus on the curriculum. We also look at how can we support teachers in that implementation piece. And so please do know that these sessions are going to be open for you. You have 2 to choose from, and I know your admin have already sent you the link to preview them. We will have recordings available for you on our EPD if there was one you really wanted to go to and you couldn't, but also know that we are here to support you and to provide any additional response to questions, or again, to walk alongside you in implementing any of these resources. So I did put a bit.ly, QR code there. If you're joining on a tablet or on a cell phone, please know if you are doing it that way, it's a bit glitchy. You have to have the Teams app, and then you also need to sign into your CSSD OneDrive. Alternatively, there's the short form, the shortcut to if you're joining on a computer, you can just type in that bit.ly and that will bring you to the list. And just pop in, enjoy, and there's a bit of time in between each session to help you get set up. And so we just wish you a wonderful rest of the day and an incredible startup as you begin your staggered entry with your students coming in tomorrow. So please, we look forward to chatting more with you, but we know that as you move forward curriculum, please take your time, take it a step at a time, and we will continue to support you as best as we can. Thanks, everyone, and we'll remain in the chat if you need any support.